From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, November the 9th, 2021. Visiting Colombian President Ivan Duque Marquez inaugurated the Colombian Innovation Center in Jerusalem today. Impulsa Colombia is the South American country's entrepreneurship and innovation agency, and this is its first office abroad. Duque said at the opening today that the office will create opportunities and connections for entrepreneurs and companies from both countries. This step, he said, confirms that Israel is our key partner in innovation. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett called the new office another important milestone that will undoubtedly strengthen the ties between our two countries. Israel's Immigration and Absorption Minister Peninnah Tamano-Shata and Interior Minister Ayelet Shaked met today to address the crisis of the thousands of Ethiopian Jews waiting to come to Israel, whose situation has become significantly more dire due to the intensifying civil war taking place there. There are said to be between 7,000 to 12,000 Ethiopian Jews in holding camps in places like Gondar and Addis Ababa, many waiting for years to make Aliyah to Israel. The two ministers agreed to expedite the process of bringing 5,000 Ethiopian Jews to Israel, those who have first-degree relatives already living in Israel. Police in France arrested a teenager last week suspected of threatening students outside or near a Jewish high school in a suburb of Lyon. The 15-year-old is accused of waving a large knife and yelling anti-Semitic insults at the students, also reportedly throwing marbles at them. Police were called to the scene and quickly arrived, taking the teen into custody. An investigation is ongoing. Bar-Ilan University is hosting an academic delegation from Morocco to Israel for a special two-day conference on Jewish culture and law in Morocco. Co-sponsored by Bar-Ilan's Dahan Center for Culture, Society, and Education in the Sephardic Heritage and by the Center for Studies and Research on Hebraic Law in Essaouira, Morocco. The two research centers signed a memorandum of understanding for wide-ranging cooperation. The head of the Moroccan liaison office in Israel, Abderrahim Bioud, said the conference was created to emphasize the urgent desire to preserve Moroccan Jewish cultural heritage and will serve as a mechanism for strengthening relations between the two nations. Israel and Morocco renewed ties last year when Morocco normalized ties with Israel under the Abraham Accords. Well, today marks the 83rd anniversary of Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass, seen as the beginning of the Holocaust. Violent anti-Jewish attacks that took place from November the 9th through the 10th of 1938 across Germany and Austria, where hundreds of synagogues were burned, thousands of Jewish businesses, homes, and schools destroyed, 91 Jews were murdered, and 30,000 Jews were sent to concentration camps. A delegation of European lawmakers and Jewish communal leaders gathered today at Auschwitz to mark the anniversary, where German Education Minister Stephanie Hubig spoke of the critical need to remember. She said, "There is still anti-Semitism in Germany, and I am ashamed of it deeply. Any such actions or sentiments," she said, "demand a powerful response from the German state and from our society. This," she said, "is what we have learned from our history. We must not tolerate any kind of anti-Semitism whatsoever, and we won't." And we have special programming for you here on JBS tonight to commemorate Kristallnacht. For Tuesday, November the 9th at 7 o'clock, author Adam Frankel discusses the trauma of learning that his father was not his biological father and of his family legacy as Holocaust survivors. That's with Indra Nooyi. At 8 o'clock, it's Let There Be Light, featuring Natan Sharansky, Irwin Cotler, Malcolm Hoenlein, and other Jewish leaders, as well as survivors of the Night of Broken Glass, with stories of humanity at its best during the darkest of times, from the ongoing project of the International March of the Living. At 9:15, Mark Golub sits down with Hans Fischer, a survivor of the SS St. Louis, who recounts the events surrounding his remarkable journey as an 11-year-old boy aboard the refugee ship from Germany in 1939. That's followed by the film Eagles Over Auschwitz. And coming up next, it's the ILTV's Insider. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, November the 9th, 2021. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.